All right, call the regular school board meeting more October 13th. Roll call, all members are present, excluding Aaron, and all admin are here. Rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, on to public comment. Anyone from the public like to come up and speak on any items? Seeing no movement, we're moving on to the consent agenda. Is there any items that would like to be pulled? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Mossman,
Second.
second by Homestead. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Consent agenda passed. Student highlights. Hi.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Oh, what was
Yeah,
that?
introduce us to you.
Yes, I'm Ava Noor. I'm a current senior at Hutchinson, and I don't know, I'm involved in a bunch of different stuff at school. I'm in tennis, golf, student council, NHS, HOSA, a bunch of different things. So yeah, I'm excited to be here
Well,
to
welcome.
share student perspectives. We recently wrapped up a really fun and eventful homecoming week, which included a mix of new and familiar activities. This year, we moved the dance to Saturday night instead of holding it on Friday right after the game. We also had tailgating before the football, with food trucks set up in the parking lot. There's also a parade and coronation on Wednesday instead of Friday this year due to the shortened week. We also kept some of our favorite traditions too, like dress-up days, the beanbag tournament, and a variety of sporting events throughout the week. It was super fun. In sports news, our football team had a big win against Totino Grace on Friday night with a final score of 48-7. They're wrapping up the regular season with a game against West Tonka on the 15th, and section quarterfinals start on the 21st. Girls tennis made it to Final Four in sections for the first time in a really long time, but they fell to St. Peter last Friday with a final score of 1-6. Individual sections began today. And finally, our marching band wrapped up their season this past Saturday at the Youth and Music Competition. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Tiger time.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So for the past 2 years, the high school has been just really trying to focus on just components of Tiger Path, just different things that are in action, I guess, at the high school. Several years ago, we used to do all of Tiger Path, and it just got to be really lengthy. And so I'm just kind of focusing on 3 different areas. So student programming in relation to, I think, 3 of the different Tiger Paths, community partnerships, which I thought would be a good idea, especially with our strategic planning going on, and then a little bit of data. So first off, I think I shared this with you in the last couple of years, and these bulleted points are what we offer students at HHS as they are kind of getting ready for life after high school. And so these are all the different areas. And so if you're going to be seeing a few of those today. The first area where it says college credits AP, I do want to point out, for the students who are on the 4-year track, we do have 14 AP courses that are offered. And what's really exciting is these last 2 years, we've always have pretty decent scores, but the last 2 years, they've just been really amazing. And so you'll see that this year, 73% of our kids taking the tests are earning a 3 or better, which is what's going to get them the college credit. Some individual wants to point out AP Chemistry, Government, and Calculus. They recorded their highest passing rate. And then I think even better, the AP Calculus taught by Chris Dobratz and AP Lit taught by Miss Sandos, Annika Sandos, they had all students get a 3 or higher. So I think, that's pretty amazing for that particular group. And this is for the kids who are on our 4-year pathways. During the 2023 legislative session, a graduation requirement for personal finance was put in place. And this law requires all students, and it's actually starting this year's 10th graders, to be taking personal finance. I thought it was important to point out so that this is getting started pretty much this year with our 10th graders. We currently have 2 courses that would meet these requirements. One of them is independent living through our family and consumer science class, and the other one is our personal finance, financial literacy that is being met through our math course. I'm putting this lovely picture up there. If Becky Bull doesn't see it, but she's in the picture. And this is, we have a community partner, the South Point Financial Credit Union, specifically Megan Karg. She has been coming to the high school for the last couple of years with just the kids who are in personal finance class, so maybe about 75 kids out of the building. And this year, because it's going to be required for all kids, we're going to have all 11th graders do this. So this year, I think it's November 6th, we're going to have all 11th graders participate. Megan Karg usually brings us about 4 to 6 volunteers. So Andrea, I guess, is going to be securing the other. I believe she needs 18. You may or may not have received an email today. Yes, okay, asking if you'd want to help out with this budgeting simulation. So I'll call it real world experiences through a simulation is what I would call that. You may have seen this on the on social media. We're trying to have a little bit more of a social media presence with being able to see what we're actually doing at the high school, because we do so many great things. So we're trying to put that out there a little bit more, and so wanting to highlight the young ladies who are taking our welding courses. So those kids are all in welding, and we have a partnership with the City of Hutchinson, specifically Miles Settled with the Economic Development Director, who's the Economic Development Director. He has a Women to Workforce intern. The picture far to the right is Lauren. Lauren served as the intern last year, and they just posted the position and hired, I don't know, I know who it is, but I don't know if it's been released, so I'm not going to say who this year's person is, but we have hired the next person, and they work with myself, but also mostly Miles and then the city, and maybe they've spent some time with some of you too. Next area I'm going to talk about, I know you guys all know that we have CNA in our high school, and this is a certification program too. And the partners that we have are Harmony River, that's where the kids do their clinicals, but also Jacob Work from the Woodstone Senior Living. He's one of our proctors and does a really nice job with that. But the reason I wanted to talk about this is it is such an amazing class and an opportunity for our kids and actually for our community to get these kids certified, but it costs a lot of money. And each year we are basically scrounging to find a grant or something that will help with that. And so I just am putting this out here because I'm a little bit concerned for the future of this program just because it is expensive. But we had, this last year we had 22 kids who ended up being certified. And I think since we started, we've had 69 kids who have now been licensed as a CNA. So just wanted to kind of point this out to you. Last year when I was talking, I think Sarah at the end asked me, well, didn't you just have a career fair? And so I figured I'd at least throw this up there. But our 10th graders just went to the Ignite Career Fair. I don't know if Mike's going to talk about this too, so I'll just be brief. But basically this is supposed to be sparking the interest for kids, 10th graders. And it's hosted by Ridgewater College, but there's a lot of organizing partners. And basically these 10th grade students, they get to access a lot of, it's about 70 hands-on, really fun exploration activities that deal with a lot of different careers. When kids come back, there's about 10 minutes before they have to go to their next class, and they're excited. They tell us all about it, and so it was really fun. And I believe maybe your son came home excited, and that's why you remembered it. I'm not sure. I'm not trying to out him or anything here, but it is a really fun day for our sophomores. I think probably about the second week of school, Dr. Scott had emailed me an article, and the article was about high schoolers not being prepared for the workforce. And I take a little offense to it because I think we do a lot of work in our school to help with that. And one of the quotes that is an overwhelming majority of those surveyed, this was the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, 97% said there should be more high school courses that teach professional career skills like communication, collaboration, and critical thinking. And I just really think that at our high school, we emphasize that a lot in the courses, the 9th grade careers classes, with the mentoring opportunities that we have too. But this phrase that I've got up here is this for students, by students. I use it all the time, and I use it especially when we're talking about any large event, and we're talking about assemblies, graduations. If you ever come to, well, you've all been to graduation, but if you've ever been to an assembly, you will not see an adult up front. They're off to the sides. We have our students speaking, and they're learning to speak in front of large groups of people. So then opportunities like this maybe aren't so scary when you've already spoken in front of, an 800 student assembly or 1,400 at a graduation. And so the students in the middle there, they are our student council leadership. So you'll see them at graduation, and they'll be reading the names of all the students and possibly speaking. I'm going to point out the one in the right corner there. She is an FFA member, and I want to say that the FFA students are probably the best speakers we have because they have those opportunities, but we try to have as many as possible for students. So I just want to point out that some of those, the communication skills are taught throughout, maybe not always in a class, but in other opportunities. And the last thing, I always like to have the Tiger Path data for you. So each of these numbers actually are up. And so the internships, we have 128. I'm just going to point out a few partners. We have so many, but I just want to name off a few that have been really great. MITGI, Hutchinson Health, and Babes Blossoms for some internships. The Job Shadows, Lifelong Veterinary, they are really great about taking all of our kids who want to go there. Prince of Peace, Hutchinson Elementary Schools, McLeod County Courthouse, 3M, that was a newer one this last year for us. GDM Seeds, which is also a newer company too. I think I already talked about the certifications, the student panel, we're trying to get more people to come in as a panel. One example is when we had different members of Hutchinson Health at different levels. So someone who maybe but had a certification versus someone who has a 2-year degree versus someone who has a 4-year degree versus someone who has an advanced degree. And so that kids can hear all about different careers at different levels. And then, of course, our community mentors, very glad that they continue to come be with our 9th grade students. And this last summer, the exploratory camps, Simonson Lumber, they did a really nice job with our students this summer, along with Hutchinson Health Lab and again, Lifelong Veterinary Clinic. The field trip count, that is just always so amazing to me. And I'm hoping Andrea sends some pictures for it, Dr. Scott's highlights for next week or next month, because she told me there's a field trip going on tomorrow. There are 22 students going to the Mississippi River barge on a classroom barge, and it is funded through a land and water grant. So that'll be really cool to see. So it's one of the opportunities that Tiger Path has for us. So that's all I have for you. Any questions?
I know I asked you last year about the AP courses.
Yes.
This year I'd like to ask Ava, what your take is on the class that you take for the AP.
I guess I've had really positive experiences with AP. It's been super helpful for me to have like that extra push in my academics, and I know it'll help me as I go on to college because they really like to see that rigor when you're applying. I know that it's challenged me to think more critically and also made me better at studying for classes, and it'll help me a lot in college. The teachers are fantastic. They're all really dedicated to what they do. I feel it's prepared me really well for my future.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, on to sponsorship agreement. Mr. Dietz, you going to speak to that one?
I can, and Mike and Danny were part of this as well.
Perfect.
So we have Mayor Lutheran is a private school over in the Watertown area, and they have some swimmers that would like to swim, but they do not have enough, and they had asked Hutchinson if we'd be willing to have their 3 swimmers come over and join ours. And then there's a process that you have to go through to make sure that it's going to work. You have to go to the high school league, get a form, and then I'm part of their subcommittee for the high school league right now. Jen has done that before, and then it goes to them, and they vote on it, and it finally gets back to us, and then we have to decide. They've already decided over there that they want to do it, and then we would decide. I don't know if Mike or Danny have anything to add.
I'll just add a few things, just if members of the community are curious. First of all, this isn't a cost to the district. We take that activity, we break it down by the number of students, and they will pay their share for those 3 students that are coming here. They're responsible for transportation. This actually supports our swim program. I was surprised to hear that our program isn't very robust anymore. And so this helps us be competitive. And we didn't do any changes to our schedules. These students will adjust their academic day and then make it to our swim practice. So I think that's it, Dan.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the agreement as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Mossman, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Danny Olmstead. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Agreement passed. On to the READ Act. Mr. Scott, do you need to talk to this, or?
I need to be available if there's any questions on the memorandum of understanding. Worked with the union leadership on this, and they voted and approved it, so it's here for your consideration and for tonight to approve.
Can you tell us what the teachers are receiving and what the district is doing to make sure they can get through their READ Act training?
Yep, so this is an agreement for this school year, 25-26, for any of our new teaching staff that have yet to complete this. So all of our staff last year that were here employed completed their READ Act training. So this is covering all staff that are newly employed. Some staff are coming in that started in another district. So the Minnesota Department of Education has recommended that they continue if they were under a program there that they need to finish on their timeline that they had established there. And then any of our other new staff will be starting new. And following that timeline to be completed by the end of the year. The compensation is a $500 stipend. We're providing up to 10 hours of time during the school year as well. As you know, last year we used pretty much all of our professional development days devoted to teachers to complete the READ Act training, and to try to balance all of that this year with staff that have already completed it, along with our new staff, providing a little bit of time then during the workday, professional development days, up to 10 hours, like I said, in addition to then that stipend, and then receiving some local board credits like their teacher colleagues did last year as well, based on which training that they complete. So that is, I think, the major components of it. Any information that I get, I've set up a Google Classroom for our staff to be informed from the companies, so communication has gone out there. I have also met with all of the new teachers individually or in groups by building to update them on what the expectations are for the year. So I think everybody's been informed of where they need to go and what needs to happen.
How many teachers are there?
There are approximately 14, I think, that have to finish that.
Last year, in order to get the majority of our staff through their READ Act training, there was a cost to the district, but there was also a cost to student academics. We had to take 2 school days away from them. Is there anything like that happening this year?
There's not any school days that are going to be taken away to complete this. No.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
I have a question, Dr. Scott, about the future. Educators are coming out of college, but they don't get the READ Act training. Is the expectation that from now and for decades that we will have to provide that?
Yeah, I'm part of monthly leadership meetings or literacy meetings with our co-op, where the people that are overseeing in their districts meet with our cooperative. There is discussions kind of on the READ Act 2.0 legislation to keep moving in that direction for colleges to build, to making sure that as students are exiting colleges, becoming teacher candidates, that they are going to be having this training. So that stuff's in the works. I don't have any specifics on that. I haven't read any specifics on it other than what I'm hearing in those meetings, because we're all asking some of those same questions about how how long will these trainings continue for any new staff coming into the districts? Because we're all going to have to ensure that they are completed, and then how that even is tying to teacher licensure. So there's more to come on some of those things, but I don't have any specifics right now. I know it's being talked about though.
And then I know one of the issues is, we can have, this is a Minnesota, the READ Act is a Minnesota legislative item, but we have people coming from particularly surrounding states.
Right.
And are we seeing a shift around at least the Midwest? That the science of reading?
Other states. I mean, yes, it definitely is out there in the country, but in terms of having a credential that they might come from South Dakota, Iowa, Wisconsin, or even another state somewhere farther away, I haven't seen a structured plan for that, and what they would have to do in order to eventually. Will it be a PELSB licensing where they won't be able to get a Minnesota license? I don't know any. I mean, we're all kind of speculating at that point about what that might look like. But in order to secure a Minnesota license, what might people have to have in order to do that? But that means that MDE and the licensing board they need to talk about those things.
Those are all good questions. Thank you for giving us the information you are speculating.
I can't remember, did we mention that we have a fund balance in the READ Act? Yeah, and so we aren't taking it out of the unreserved, so.
All right, if there's,
He's ready to make a second, make a first.
is there a motion to approve the memorandum as presented?
So moved.
Second. Ms. Pullman made the motion, second by Mr. Mossman. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And memorandum passed. On to the fund balance. Ms. Bold, do you need to speak to this or?
Real quick, this is a part of our fiscal year-end process, and our fund balance policy states that if we want to commit funds for severance, we can set them aside, carve them out from the general fund. So the total you're seeing here is for those eligible and based on their daily rates of pay as of June 30. So $50,087.85 is recommended.
And Becky, for younger teachers or members of the community who don't know what this fund is for, what does this fund cover? How many staff are on it? And does it sunset?
Yes, so it does sunset. There are 2 collective bargaining agreements that it still applies to. The severance is available to 2 employees in the custodial contract and 9 in HESP. In both contracts, to be eligible, they need to have 20 years of service and 55 years of age. And yes, you're remembering correctly that it is sunsetting. So the commitment from this school district continues to fall each year as people retire.
Thanks, Becky.
All right, is there a motion to approve the fund balance?
So moved.
Motion by Danny Homestead, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passed. Thank you guys. Superintendent Dietz.
All right, good evening again. A draft of the weather handbook has been completed. It's being reviewed by the principals and directors, and I expect that it will be to the November meeting at the very latest, and we'll have it in place before any snow falls, right? We're not gonna have anything before then, but hopefully we expect that to be here, and then we'll ask for your approval of that. On the first Friday of each month, I am meeting with Superior Transportation. It's a set date, and this is just a good opportunity for us to reflect on how things are going in our transportation and what things might need to be adjusted. Over the past few weeks, Julie, who's from Teamworks, has been meeting with different groups of people to find out what their daily experiences are or what they want their daily experiences to be. They have met with high school students, middle school students, staff, parents, and communities, all in separate sessions, and had an opportunity to do these in-person meetings. It was a great time for these groups to share their thoughts and experiences. I do wish we could have gotten some more people out to these meetings. I know it's hard to get people to come out to them, but the people that came out, she said, did a nice job, and they gave her a lot of good ideas. So that's good to hear that. She'll be compiling all this information now and then sharing them with the strategic planning team on October 21st, which is not the school board yet, but you will be seeing this information later down the way. And there's also going to be several surveys that are going to be shared out over the next few weeks for the strategic planning process. So it's going very well, and we're happy to continue to work our way through it. Over the next 5 weeks, I will be doing some all-day visits to buildings. I'll be getting those emails out to them to tell them when I'm coming. It gives me a great opportunity to visit classrooms, connect with staff and students. I will be having my first teacher focus group on October 20th, and I'm also this year able to meet with HESP once a month. Mostly it's been their president and also Local 284, their president. So we have set dates for that into the calendar, so that's good. And I also look forward to, hopefully it won't be too cold, but getting out to the spooky sprint and helping with water like I've done the last couple of years. That's on October 25th. As far as negotiations go, for HES, the school district and the administration have met jointly with HES 5 times since July. HESP has brought over 30 proposals forward, along with some salary and benefit proposals. The district and HESP have exchanged counter proposals, and the next upcoming meetings are scheduled for October 23rd, November 13th, and December 1st. Looking at Local 284, it's kind of similar. We haven't met quite as many times as HESP. We started a little later with them, but we've met 3 times. And they also brought kind of one big package at one time to get salary benefits and language proposals to us, which then we have given them counter proposals, and they will be coming back again to respond to those. Our meetings with them are on October 21st, November 14th, and November 25th. Any questions? Thanks.
Thanks, Dan. Dr. Scott?
Okay, a couple building highlights. Our students that are in theater and partaking in the musical had an opportunity to have lead Broadway actress Caroline Ingerbricker. I think she's on Broadway. She's been to Chanhassen, Ordway. So this was thanks to the Hennepin Theater Spotlight program. So grateful for her to be coming and working with students and to have an experience from a talented actress. So thank you for being here. Jen had talked about the students in grade 10 who participated in the Ridgewater College Ignite career fair on Friday. This has been an annual thing where our sophomores go out there. Dan and I stopped out there. It was an active day. Just about every room I think was filled and outside, and students having a lot of hands-on experiences. I think there were over a dozen school districts that also participated. So thank you to all of our local businesses and experts that were giving our students a hands-on experience and figuring out, we didn't get any job offers, did we? When we were out there, nobody wanted to hire us, so we just kind of were looking. We didn't get our hands into anything, so we'll stick around. But there were some very interesting jobs. I think that's always a big thing we talk about Tiger Path when you talk about businesses, and people might think of some of those. You know, if you go work at a hospital, they think of doctors, nurses. What are the other jobs that are out there that people maybe don't think about? Or so when we talk at our Tiger Path oversight meetings, what are some of those jobs that people don't know exist out at your businesses, and to continue to highlight those that students might not know about. The last one that's up here is just a recognition again of our ISD 423 grant recipients. There were over $10,000 received this year, and since 2014-15 school year, over $70,000 provided to our staff for innovative projects and things that they're coming up with in the classroom. So thank you to all of our sponsors. A lot of them are and donors are our own staff contributing back to the district through payroll deductions and donations to give back to the students. So thank you. Just a couple other items. When you asked how many of our staff, I said 14. It's actually 12. There are some new staff that are going to be under that phase 2 that we won't have. We'll have to do another MOU next year for all of our phase 2 staff, which is basically our secondary language arts teachers. That is still supposed to be coming out in October for registering in the spring. I know I've talked about this probably a lot for next year. So again, there were 12. We had 26 support staff do the October 1st early release training. So Jody Kleindl, our reading and math interventionist at West Elementary, hosted that first one, and she did an excellent job, so thank you to her for that. She'll do another one in January, so we're going to kind of have that rotating schedule. We have another 15 support staff currently, unless we continue to hire some more that'll do that first session in January, but again, we've got them spaced out all the way out throughout the year. So like I mentioned before, I did meet with all the new teachers to walk through the expectations. I did address last meeting that we had that September 26th PD session on trust-based relation intervention with Megan Galberry. Had a 4-hour session. She was here a couple years ago. I know it was a refresher for a lot of people and new for a lot of our new staff, and we continually hire in the last few years, probably over 100 new staff members. I kind of a guesstimate, but receiving that as well. A lot of good information about how how our brain works, how we develop those childhood experiences or that may affect how we're coming to school prepared, and then how we're being able to interact and react and foster those trusting, safe relationships with our students. Just a reminder, we have parent-teacher conferences this week for K-12 tomorrow night, and then K-8 on Wednesday. And good luck to all of our activities as they continue their fall seasons. Some other big things that we're doing is working with the new language arts, social studies departments this year. I've talked about that a lot. And then the new health standards, I just saw an update that's probably not going to be implemented to the 28-29 school year, which is quite a ways out yet. I know I talked about that at one of the last school board meetings, but just implementing some more of those new standards. I do have the science scores. I don't have a handout for that. I know probably November I can talk a little more specifically about that. I'm not sure how to explain all of the scores, because as a state, the state average was 26%, 26.2%. Our district proficiency was 30.73. So we're above the state average. I will say that that in 5th grade, we were at 45.9%. And the state was at 26. So our 5th graders are a little over 19% above the state average. Our 5th grade cohort was the top 12 in the state out of 482 public schools, 5th grade cohorts. 482 public schools reporting and having enough students to test. Our 5th grade was top 12, and I think that has a lot to do with our we have a K-5 stream program that goes all the way through, where all of our students are having that every other day, and in focus 5th grade as well. I think is a testament to all of that work all the way through. So our 5th grade was in the top 2%. 8th grade proficiency was 14.4%. The state was 16.7%. So we're a little below that. However, we were in the top 34% in the state in 8th grade, even though we're saying 14% proficiency. Our high school is 33.3. The state was 36.6. So we're a little below the state average, and we were in the top 47%. It's a new test. We can't compare it to anything before, so we can't look at MCA3s. It wouldn't be an accurate comparison at all. I met with a few of the departments and shared the data out. If there's any questions about where these numbers are, I don't have an answer for these things other than asking the whys moving forward. Where do we need to look at the percentages? It's when we look at the states, it's hard to say where we're highly above in 5th grade. We're around that in high school, middle school, and when we're still in the top half or top third of the state with the scores they are, we just have to ask questions about what the percentages mean. So I don't have any other thoughts, and if anybody else has questions or other thoughts about it, but wanted to share that data. It's not embargoed any further, and I don't take any questions or anything else that you would have questions you want me to try to find answers to.
Do you know last year's MCAs, what we were at in 8th grade?
I do. I can pull it up right now. Last year's 8th grade was 35.8, and it was 5.5% above state average.
How long have we been teaching to the MCA test for science?
In terms of how long we've had an MCA science test, I guess I'd have to look back at how long we've had an MCA science test. It's probably been 2012 timeframe.
When, when was the district able to pivot and teach to the new standards?
We've been implementing gradually over the past 3, especially specifically, I guess, in the middle school, because that was a major change in where the focus was in terms of life, physical, and earth science, flipping those things around. So it's been I would say, 2-3 year preparation.
I just, when I hear 85.6% of 8th graders don't meet the standard, that's a pretty shocking number. Obviously, the rest of the state saw similar trends. Just makes me curious.
Anything else? Dr. Scott?
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bowl?
Good evening. The audit fieldwork was held for the annual financial audit September 29th to October 3rd. It progressed well. We're working on scheduling that presentation for the Board of Education to accept during the month of November. One of the key metrics that stakeholders look at for a kind of a gauge of financial health or stability is the unassigned general fund balance excluding operating capital. Ours maintained relatively flat at 11.5 million. We did report a stable year. We were within 340,000 of the budget, and for all intents and purposes, that's a break-even point for the school district. In other business, we are looking at our bonds and seeing if we can generate any interest expense savings for the taxpayers. We do have one potential that we're looking further into. During the work session, the school board will hear from the financial advisor about a partial refunding on the 2016 bond, which relates to the high school. So we'll talk more about those details at that time. Project work, negotiations were mentioned. The HR committee is also working on paid family leave so that we can make sure we have all of the items we need to have in place for the rollout of that, which the state indicates is January 1. In other areas, we'll be working on truth and taxation, budget revisions. We are completing a 9th review for the Minnesota Department of Education. So we spent some time at Finance Committee last week talking about the many requests that the state has had in the last 15 months. I don't think I have any other priority items to mention, but I can definitely take any questions.
No, you're good. Thank you. All right, moving on. Resolution supporting a form application for Minnesota High School League Foundation. Dan, do you want to just give a little narrative to it?
Yeah, this is every year, and it's a good thing. They look at unduplicated counts of free and reduced lunch students who are in activities, and then that gets reported to the high school league, and they send us a check back for whatever amount it is going to be that year. That can then be put towards helping with activities, fees, or whatever we need to help kids participate.
Thank you. Okay. There's no questions. I'm going to call a motion to support the for the resolution as presented on the screen.
So moved.
Motion by Danny Olmsted. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Michael Mossman. This will be a roll call vote. Is Ms. Bowman?
Aye.
Mossman?
Aye.
Jankowski?
Aye.
Luthen's aye. Olmsted?
Aye.
All right, resolution passed. Thank you. On to committee reports. Technology. Mr. Mossman.
Technology met. It was kind of a startup meeting, if you will, coming off of the summer, catching back up with teachers and their just inevitable technical issues. There was a change to phone services, and if there's staff still having issues with that, please reach out to Nick and his team. Couple of software purchasers were talked about, and then just a brief discussion about availability of Chromebooks in the right grade levels with the right students, and issues they've been seeing with rentals not coming back or rentals being broken. So otherwise, it was a fairly brief meeting.
Thank you. Facilities, Jankowski?
Yes, facilities met. There was a lot to go over. Starting with Tiger and Park infills for the windows. We've had some issues. Most of them are being worked through. There's still a little bit to work through on the back side of one of the buildings. Still having issues, and it's still a work in progress. We're still going to have to keep working on that one. And then we went through the rental waiver for the facilities rental. So we have a waiver whereas a member of the school can, kind of be there and make sure everything goes well. And then the people renting the facility won't have to pay a fee for the custodians to be there to make sure everything goes well. So that's in process because it's with legal. So we have to make sure that the waiver is all legal, and that'll be ready for our next meeting. The bus garage, there was a remodel done, and it's done well. There's a little bit to work on for roof anchors, and so we want to keep that, going well so we don't have any leaks going. Let's see. And we're still looking for safety committee members. So that's something that the different schools will have to get with and try to get somebody from each group to come to the safety committee. There's a little bit of staffing. They added one custodian at Park. They've got some more people that they're working on for more staffing for custodians. Let's see. We're doing a little bit more on security, but that's with, we'll leave that go because it's not decided yet, so. And then there's some concerns on playground safety, but that's still in the decision-making process. And that's about it. So that's it.
Thank you. Finance, Ms. Molden?
So our revenues are at 14% of the budget, or 6.6 million, which is a little bit behind, but that is due to the receipts of levies. For expenses, we're at 13% of the budget, which is on track. We already discussed that the audit went very well. The levy that we were talking about, we're ready for a truth in taxation. And then I don't think that's got mentioned with facilities, but I know both the facilities committee and the finance committee reviewed the remaining fund balance that's left for from the projects for the district office, the TAP building, and the middle school. And we've been able to find places to spend those leftover funds. So we're very much looking forward to attacking those projects. That's it.
Thank you. Parks and Rec, is there anyone from admin that can speak to it, or? All right, moving forward. Meetings are up on the screen. And is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Motion by Mike Mossman, second by Danny Olmsted. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Meeting adjourned.